Okay, so we are back, and hopefully below us is the scorecard, so that means that everything's worked with the refresh. I'm now joined by Sammy King, just to let you know that the bell has gone, so Alex and Joe will be out very, very soon. Sammy, very good to see you. The sun's out, well. Friday night, T20. Durham put 183 on the board. It looked at one stage it could be a little bit lower, but that's kind of around what we're used to chasing here at Trent Bridge. Do you think the lads will be happy with that target?
Yeah, well, I spoke to Mull earlier and he said looking at about 170, so they probably got slightly over par, but with our batting lineup, I mean, anything can happen. You know, Baz can fire, Sol as well as playing, so Duckett, Clarke, if one of those lads comes off, like that 180 is nothing here for us, so yeah.
Well, we've seen it's the same pitch that Birmingham got 260 on, so, you know, 180 seems well achievable compared to that 260. Yeah, but definitely. You mentioned about batting deep. In this lineup that we've got today, no offence to Jake, but we bat right down to number 10, don't we? Lyndon at 10. Obviously, it can change in T20, but that's going to be crucial in this chase, isn't it?
Yeah, well, exactly. Lyndon's in top form as well with his 150 odd, 60 odd this week. And we bat right down, as you say. Timor's as well. So if we can take it deep, take it right down to the 20th over, I'm sure we'll be able to get over the line, yeah.
Well, the umpires have made the way out, so that means that me and you have got to go. I mean, people are obviously gutted now, but we're going to have to hand back to the commentary team.
That's fine, yeah, that's all right. That's me done. Thank you, guys. Yeah, yeah.
All right, cheers, Sammy, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
See ya. Okay, enjoy the second innings.
Trent Bridge Notts are about to begin their chase. They need 184 to beat Durham here at a beautiful sunny Trent Bridge. Back to commentary from the former Notts captain Paul Johnson and Dave Bracegood.
Thank you very much, Alex. The Durham players are sprinting out onto the field, looking very businesslike and ready for work. They've put a score on the board here, 183 for 8. Notts will have their work cut out to get there, but they've been absolutely desperate for a platform given them by the openers, Alex Hales and Joe Clarke. Paul showing me that Grace Road, Leicestershire made 214 for 6. Northants required 215. That's a match that bizarrely Notts supporters would need to end in a tie. Now they've got this far into the evening. If Notts were to have any hope, I think we've known for about 3 games that Notts haven't got any hope of getting through to the quarterfinals. Mathematically it will be taken away from them if there's a positive result for either side in the Leicestershire Northants game this evening. So Joe Clarke, as always, is on strike, got a century up at Durham in 2020 in the Blast. Magnificent innings that was. What will he produce this evening? Bryden Carse bowls to him and Clarke is away. First ball with a single. Again, you may have seen earlier in the day England have named white ball squads in both T20 and ODI cricket to face India in a week or two's time. There's a match here, of course, a T20 game here the end of next week. No Nottinghamshire contingents in either squad. No Clarke or Duckett, or indeed Hales, who's now on strike, to face his first ball, and he's run this to backward point, and there's no run. Hales, of course, last season up at Chesterley Street made 96 not out against Durham, and it was a rather strange ending to the innings because he was 96 not out with 2 balls left from Ben Rain, and he missed both of the last 2 balls, slow bouncers. Here's Carse from the pavilion end. In past umpire Longley bowls, and Hales with a slightly fortunate slice down to third man gets away with a single. Lovely evening. A little chilly now. The warmth of the day will have disappeared, but it's been fairly pleasant. We did have that shower around about 5 o'clock. Sharp shower of rain forced the ground staff to put covers on the strip and the square, but quickly moved them away. And pleasant conditions for both watching and playing right now. Carse in again. Clarke pushes it out onto the offside, no run. What are you showing me, Paul?
James Carse, 60 first class games. How many wickets? 137. List A games, just the 23. Dad of this lunatic. Zimbabwean. I thought he was South African.
Battered nicely, Bryden Cast. 25 in good time towards the back end of the Durham innings. Comes in to bowl now to Joe Clarke, who mistimes this. It's a fairly meagre output for Notts in the opening over here. 5 deliveries, just 2 runs.
I think because of the situation, Dave, I'd quite like Sol Budinger to open the batting tonight. I know that that's his favoured position in T20, and just giving him a go up front.
I did see the tweet of the Notts 11 from the club, so from that you can read it as an official tweet, and it did have Budinger, or Budinger's name, 3rd behind Clarke and Hales, as Joe Clarke clips this away through the leg side for 4, but as Paul Johnson points out and steers me in the direction of umpire Lungley, who stood there with his arm outstretched, that ball's going to have to be sent down again, and it'll be a free hit. So that is a costly delivery all around. It's already cost 6 runs. Yep.
You know, you're saying that it's...
Look at people walking about because they think it's the end of the over. So stewards have let people both get into the seats in front of the pavilion and also come out of the pavilion door. And Alex Hales is saying, for goodness sake, sit down.
Yeah. There's a bloke there with 2 hot cups of tea. He's just got to get back down to his seat, Dave.
So Cast to bowl to Joe Clarke, who's on 5. Free hit at the end of this first over. Here is Cast, right arm.
He's got away with it.
Medium fast, bowls a low full toss, which Clarke drills to mid-on, and there's no run. So 8 from the end of that first over. Not so slightly ahead. Durham got 5 from the first over earlier on in the evening.
Yeah, got away with that. Low full toss, only had to beat 1 on that leg side and drizzled it to him. But absolute bonus that previous ball went for 4 plus the extra.
So we've seen Ben Duckett always come in at 3, and then whenever he's got out, Tom Moores has replaced him, so it's been a right-hand, left-hander. But of course with Budinger in the side as well, there's another lefty there as well. We're going to get pace off the ball here with...
He's had limited success, Moores, as well, hasn't he, really?
Liam Travaskis. Left arm round the wicket spinner, bowls, and a nice looking shot from Hales. Gets, well, he comes back for 2. I thought he'd found the rope there.
No.
The fielder coming round, and I'm not entirely sure who it was. It might have been Michael Jones, came round and did the fielding. In fact, it's not, because Michael Jones is down here below us. But it was stopped in the end. It didn't go for 4. Hales has slapped this out onto the offside, and this one will go for 4. The reason I don't know who it is it's a number 16 down here, and we haven't got a number 16, so it's maybe a Durham sub. Just try and get the binoculars on the name. In fact, it's Scott Borthwick, not number 16. I have a funny feeling he may be, and he's in the squad. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's Scott Borthwick. So Hales with a boundary, 14 with Outlaws. Next delivery sees Hales lift this one so elegantly over extra cover for 6. That was absolutely beautiful. That, for me, and you know, this isn't looking at it one-eyed, that's the best shot of the night for me.
It's so tough. It's very high tariff to hit that over extra cover inside out and still get elevation and power into it to hit it for 6.
There's Travaskis bowling to Hales, and he's hit this one down the ground towards us. Doesn't quite reach our open window this time as he did a few years ago. 26 without loss, back-to-back 6s for Alex Hales. I should mention, in fairness, that blow from AJ Ties that cleared the Fox Road stand, now that was a hit.
Yeah.
But this one from Hales was so elegant, wasn't it? The one who lifted over extra cover.
Yeah, and he had more pace to hit into it, to be fair, Ty. You know, it helps to have the pace. The spin, you've got to generate your own power, and Alex Hales, the size he is with the levers that he's got, can certainly do that.
There's Travaskis bowling to Hales, who's moving about, and that nearly cost him. He moved about, went down for the slog sweep and missed it. 26 without loss. In 2017, not set a new world record for most runs in a power play. Hales and Vessels 106 after 6 overs against Durham. Don't think they're going to do something similar, but they've started brightly. Well, in that over, A really good one. Hales has moved on to 20. The Outlaws are 27 without loss, and that's just after 2 overs. And I should also mention, well done to the production team. Those of you watching the live stream probably haven't noticed it, but seamlessly we've now got the all the graphics on there with the score and what have you. So apologies that a glitch in the system prevented you having the score on there throughout the first innings, but hopefully that's okay now. Some lovely shots there from Hales.
Yeah, elegant. As you say, there was one that he didn't quite get hold of. It found the gap that fortunately they got back for 2. I say fortunately because after that there was an absolute array of beautiful shots. One over extra cover, the next down towards long on.
Here's Ben Rain from the pavilion end bowls. Hales works this on the leg side. He'll come back for 2 here, I'm sure.
Oh,
no,
dear.
he won't. Probably was 2. Joe Clarke didn't express any interest.
Yeah, short side. So if it's anything like an accurate, decent arm, it hasn't got to travel too far. So probably erring on the side of caution at this stage.
Ben Rain, who was understandably very unhappy at having to go earlier. He was run out after a collision with the bowler Dan Christian, who then threw the stumps down. There is Rain in. Clarke clips this to mid-wicket and they won't get a run. And it remains 28 without loss. Notts Outlaws in pursuit of a victory target of 184.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Mr. Clarke is out on the field after what happened to him first ball of the game, Dave.
That's a good question, isn't it?
What number is he? Number
It's
7.
Number 7, Graham Clarke.
We'll keep an eye out.
That's maybe why Borthwick's on the field. Next one is heaved away by Joe Clarke for 6 into the Larwood and Vose. Just 2 or 3 rows deep, but that's all it has to be. Cleared the rope, and that's gone away for 6 runs.
Yeah.
Fairly sure Graham Clarke isn't out there, by the way. Just had a quick look round the Durham players. 34 without loss. Clarke on to 11.
You'd say that was in the slot, wouldn't you?
Well, already we've had 3 maximums between Clarke and Hales, and we only had 6 in total in the Durham innings. Does make a difference, doesn't it? As you look to rattle up the runs. 34 without loss. Here's Rain, halfway through his first over, gone for 7, gone for 13, as Joe Clarke helps this one out of the ground for 6 more. That's gone for a drink in the Larwood and Vose Public House, which is the other side of the buildings here in Trent Bridge. Out of the ground and away for 6.
Yeah, not as big as the AJ Ty one, but all the same, it would have probably, if it was 10 yards straighter, have hit the roof on the Larwood and Vose. Went between the gap of the Fox Road and the Larwood and Vose, bounced into the car park and probably out onto the Hound Road, Fox Road exit through there. Umpire Lungley goes to try and find a ball that is how many balls? 12, 16 balls old and already gone for, is that 5 sixes, Dave, or 4?
That's 4 sixes.
4 sixes.
Yeah. The old white ones, the replacement ones in that suitcase, they just seem to get any old ball out, don't they? They don't take the loving care over selecting them, or seemingly they don't, as they do in red ball cricket. That was a mighty blow, which again will just make Notts supporters feel a little bit disappointed that all this didn't happen earlier on in the competition when there were qualifying places up for grabs. You know, you think back the
Here's the ball.
Leicester should have, oh, it has come back, been thrown back.
I tell you what, someone's very honest.
40 without loss. So what do they do now? They have a look at that one to see if it's damaged, and umpire Longley says, yeah, it's okay, get on with it. Back-to-back 6s for Joe Clarke, who's on 17. Ben Rain to bowl to the former Worcestershire man. Ooh, slower delivery, pitched right up there, and Clarke, who's had difficulties or issues with broken bats this season, digs it out and immediately inspects the base of this one.
Leg spinner out the back of the hand delivery, just looped and got the length perfect right up in the block 08. I think if that would have been slot, that would have gone.
Here's Rain in again, past the umpire bowls. Clarke clips it to mid-wicket, and again no run. It's the fact that they've got off to such a fast start. They needn't just push and run there and
take the
take
risk.
a risky
There's
run.
no point.
40 without loss after 3. So Durham had only got 41 at the end of the 6-over power play, so Notts have given themselves a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, they need to get ahead, purely because that last 3 overs went for 39. So if they can try and get some in the bank for coming down to that back end, that's what they'll be looking at. And I don't really think Durham did themselves any favours in the first 6 overs, only scoring 41, losing 2 wickets in that period as well. So if Notts can get way ahead, they're already, you know, after 3 overs, they're already near where they were after 6, just 2 runs off it. So they'll be looking at this as a massive sort of get in front period for coming into that back end, Dave.
There's
AJ Ty.
Are we going with AJ or Andrew?
I've just said my bit.
Looks as if he's had a new haircut for his visit to Nottinghamshire. Right arm, medium fast, straight run. He's in, bowls, and a slower ball. He took all the pace off that, and it completely bamboozled Alex Hales, who almost had time to have 2 swishes at it. And it bounced another couple of times before reaching the wicket keeper. Robinson stood a long way back.
Does AJ Ty and Clarke play in the same franchise in Australia?
Now there's a question.
Seem to be having a bit of banter.
Here's Ty in again, bowls, and Hales digs it out, and there's no run. That's 4 dot balls in a row, I think.
Yep, I was just about to come to that. You're spot on. And to be fair, there's probably been 2, 4, 6 dot balls in the last 8, and the others have gone out the ground.
Yeah.
Clarke, I think sensibly there, just walking down to Alex Hales and saying, "Oi, you know, don't do anything silly here. We've got a flyer. The last thing we want to be doing is losing you to a rash shot."
Hales on 21 from 11. Ty bowls to him, and there is a little push and run up to Jones at mid-on, and they do take the single. Plenty of fielders on the one, so just rotating the strike, not as easy as it probably would be a little later on, but they have changed ends now. 41 without loss. Joe Clarke back on strike on 17. Clarke's averaging about 24 for this year's campaign, couple of 50s, top score of 86. Hales averaging 30, 3 50s, a top score of 91. Ty just positioning his 2 leg side fielders out on the fence, and comes into bowl to Clarke, who's hit this one towards us, and it's got the legs to go over the ropes comfortably into the lower tier of the Radcliffe Road stand, somewhere down below us for 6 more, the 5th maximum of this innings already.
Yeah.
And Notts a 47 without loss.
Took a stride down and a stride outside leg stump and just swung his arms through it. It was as though he'd read it perfectly, that it was going to be a similar slower ball to what Alex Hales faced first ball. It was a lot straighter, and he just cleared his arms and over it went. And he can't stay out here, he's got to come back in.
Yeah. So Clarke has gone ahead of Hales now. He's got 23, Hales has 22, 47 on the board as Ty bowls again to Joe Clarke, into the pad this time. They take
inside
have a look
edge.
at David Milnes. He's
No.
not going to tap his knee, so there was a little bit of inside edge. 48 without loss. Notts Outlaws, 1 ball left in the 4th. There's a comparison, or the Duckworth-Lewis score already up on the board. At the same stage, Notts should be 26 without loss. That's
Yeah,
just a
that-
Duckworth-Lewis comparison.
If that lot drops over there, Dave, we've had it.
No clouds at all, anywhere to be seen. Next one short and rolled away for 4 by Hales. Just rolled the wrists on it, pulled it to deep backward square for 4, and Notts have 52 on the board at the end of the 4th over. So terrific opening partnership here. Again, you can only take this game in isolation. Notts doing everything they can to bow out in front of their home supporters with a win here. It will leave, as I say, a lot of what ifs, and what a shame and how disappointing with what happened earlier in the group. But right now this evening, a lot of supporters enjoying this very much.
Yeah, I can, you know, going back to our time, I can remember opening the batting with Paul Pollard when the coloured gear and the fielding restrictions came in. And you know, we used to get off to flyers off the first 6 overs of 42, and we were thinking, what a great start this is. Look at the way the game's gone now. It's absolutely incredible.
Travaskis coming on for a second overs. We're out of the... no, we're not. We're still in the power play, of course. This is going to be the 5th over. His first one went for 19. Little surprised he's going to get a second over in the power play. This one from the pavilion end, and Clarke has muscled it out to deep mid-wicket for a single, 53 without loss. Those of you out there heading for some weekend cricket, hope you have lots of success with bat and ball and very much enjoy the social side of things. Big match in the South Notts tomorrow. Cornton at home to Paul Johnson's Boldo. That'll be the big one. 53 without loss. Next delivery is heaved away by Hales. Now then, out, says Paul Johnson. Will it be caught? It will indeed, and Hales has gone for 26. Travaskis with the wicket. Just got under it too much, Alex Hales, just trying to emulate Clarke and get it into that Fox Road stand, but went straight up, and a nicely judged catch there out in the deep, and it's 53 for 1. I think they're just waiting for the confirmation of the catcher in the deep, as I was. Travaskis with the wicket, nice catch on the deep mid-wicket fence. 53 for 1.
Yeah, didn't quite get it. More of a top edge than bat face, and
it's the one man we hadn't seen with bat in hand earlier, Nathan Souter, who's on loan from Middlesex.
Good catch.
Taking the catch, yeah.
I think what helped him is the sun's disappeared, because I think about 20 minutes ago that would have been almost impossible, coming in from what was in front of the Larwood and Vos and running round in front of the Fox Road stand and taking a good catch about 15 yards off, running around to his right, and pouched a very important wicket, because I think if these two had been going probably 6-8 overs in, they'd have made a huge dent in this target. But Hale's gone now, and Duckett the man that's come in, so left-right hand combo.
Yeah, 53 for 1. Didn't hear the news earlier. First day of the Test match, England-India. India closed on 338 for 7. Big century there for Rishabh Pant. Durham's Matty Potts continuing his fine start to international career. A couple of wickets, including bowling Virat Kohli for just 11. Potts not here then. Liam Travaskis is the Durham bowler. Ball in hand, bowls to Ben Duckett, who's away first ball. Just helping this out onto the leg side. Duckett averaging 28 in this season's competition, just the 150, but a lot of very useful contributions along the way. 54 for 1.
I usually do the rings around 10 plus overs, Dave. There was only 3 in the first 10. Sorry.
Bowls, and Clarke works it on the leg side for a single.
Only 3 in the
Durham innings.
In the Durham innings in the first 10 overs. 4 in the second, and 3 of those with the back 3. So Notts getting well ahead in terms of those double-digit scores in per over.
So, next one on its way to Duckett, and he's just muscled that through mid-wicket. It's a very really elegant shot, wasn't it?
It was a really good shot, because there's 2 men back out there, and you see from a lot of inexperienced players, they just hit into that. It's a real rubbish ball halfway down, and they usually find deep mid-wicket, deep backward square leg, but here he's not only found the gap to wide mid-on, but he's kept it down as well, and it's a bigger boundary out there, probably right on his range, and very intelligent shot.
Final ball of the 5th over, he bowls, and Duckett will take the single. I wonder how many times I've said that this season. From the final ball of the over, Duckett takes a single. Very, very often does that to his batting partner. 60 for 1.
Just over 11,000 crowd. Just been announced. Decent numbers tonight. Friday night's a good night to come, though, isn't it?
Notts going along at 12 and over, then 60 for 1 after 5 overs in front of this very decent crowd. The bars and the burgers and the fish and chips and the pizzas will all be doing a roaring trade in the concourse.
back on. So he bowled the first and the sixth in the power play.
Notts require further 124 from 15 overs. This is the last over of the power play. Bryden Castle will be bowling to Ben Duckett, who's on 6. Joe Clarke has 26. Hales out for 26. 1 wicket to fall. Here's Carse. Runs away from us, bowls. Duckett pushes to mid-wicket. There's no run. That's Borthwick on as a sub-fielder up inside the ring. Club skipper as well, Scott Borthwick, the red ball skipper. Very often sits out the Blast games, makes the squad but doesn't play. It honours the fielding substitute. 60 for 1. There's Carse in again to Duckett, who's caught that away behind square. In fact, has it hit the ground? I think some pace was taken out the ball as it left the bat. I thought I was going to race away for 4, but
hit one of those dark patches, didn't it, Dave?
Yeah,
Have they had much rain here today?
They had a really heavy shower about 5 o'clock, but that I can tell you is this won't make an awful lot of sense to those listening to us via the BBC Sport website and app. The pictures where that pitched was for the last championship game against Middlesex, and all the way through we sort of had a muddy end at the far end where the keeper stood and the bowlers started their run up. This one's gone through Duckett, caught by Robinson. Durham appealing for a caught behind, but not, I don't think, with any great conviction. Bryden Carse with a polite ask. There were 1 or 2 others that were yelling in the general direction of umpire Milnes.
I think it's just clipped his thigh pad. His legs got crossed over. As his back came across it, I think it just must have clipped his thigh pad.
Yeah, but as that previous one from Duckett hit that muddy patch, it seems to take a bit of the pace off it, didn't it?
It skipped up.
62 for 1 here at Trent Bridge, under the floodlights, but it's a lovely, lovely evening. Carse bowls cut away again by Duckett, but there is protection out there, square of the wicket, and they'll just get a single this time. 63 for 1. And the former Northants man moves on to 9. So a couple of left-handers to come should Dan Christian want to send them in at the fall of the next wicket. Either Tom Moores or the youngster Sol Budinger, and the experienced right-handers. Christian himself might want to go out with an innings here. Stephen Mullaney, who's got better as the competition's gone on, and of course Samit Patel. There's Carse into Clarke, who got into a position to play a scoop. Completely missed it. The ball didn't get up at all, whether it was a slow one from Carse, but it did the Aussies call it a mully grubber? It just bobbled along the ground, so Clarke couldn't scoop it. Yeah,
Clarke's looking for a wide, and I think David Milnes is saying you're not having the wide because you almost turn to, if it was outside off stump, it'd have reverse ramped it and blah blah blah, but I still think he's got away with one there, Carse.
Yeah, 63 for 1. Clarke has 26. What will he do for this one? He'll play a very elegant shot for 1 bounce 4, but short. It was very, very close to the rope, over extra cover. That was a proper cricket shot. Why they bother trying to ramp or scoop or any of these other innovative shots when you can play cricket shots like that, I'm not sure. Cracker from Joe Clarke at the end of the over.
Yeah, I'm going to up your Alex Hales best shot of the night, and
67
I'm going to say
for 1 after 6, by the way.
I'm going to up your shot of Alex Hales and say that takes over.
You like that one, didn't
you? Yeah, I did.
It's the end of the power play. 67 for 1. Notts Outlaws at the same stage. Durham were 41 for the 2 or 3. 2. Here is Ben Rain. Picture of him up on the big screens here at Trent Bridge. Looks an angry man on that screen.
Not to be messed with, shall we say.
That's the shaven-headed look, isn't it? But he'll certainly been angry about that run out earlier on. There's no getting away from that. 67 for 1 after 6. Notts require a further 117 from 84 balls. Don't go away, folks, because this will come right down, I'm sure, to the last knockings. If Notts continue in the same vein as they have most of the matches this year, they may well just get into a position and then lose that position and then get it back again. Here's Rain in, bowls, and Duckett cuts it away behind square. The crowd roar because they thought it was going for 4.
I tell you
Stopped
what,
right on the fence by Souter.
I'd like to see a replay of that. It looked like his feet might have just touched base over the boundary.
I know medium fast bowling wasn't necessarily your forte, but I've always thought Ben Rain's run in was quite interesting, Paul, in that he sets off, it looks as if he's going to sprint in like Usain Bolt, then he just seems to slow down and lose a little bit of pace in the middle before accelerating again and then whipping it through with the shoulder. It works for him. This is cut into the offside. Souter again fields one more. 70 for 1.
Yeah, you can be sure he used to run in like Usain Bolt, but the years have caught up with him. I think the odd lightning bolt has struck him over the years.
Lots and lots of animated chatter. Won't all be about the cricket, of course, in the crowd. Generally, as we get into the second half of the innings, I'm sure we'll get one or two of the popular tunes starting to be blared out at every boundary and every wicket. In comes Rain again. The right-handed Clarke has 30, and pace taken off it, goes through into the gloves of Robinson. It's getting, obviously, I know it happens this time of day, but just getting a little darker because the stewards' luminous lime green coats are just starting to get more and more visible, particularly in the Fox Road stand. There seems to be plenty of stewards on duty in there this evening.
It's Forest away kit, Dave.
Next delivery is just dropped gently by Clarke on the leg side. That's 2 mentions. 71 for 1. Did actually like that one. That was lime green and orange, wasn't it? 71 for 1. Speaking of which, Ben Duckett this evening, those of you that obviously close Notts followers will see he's got white footwear on. I don't know if he's been ticked off or has just chosen not to wear these flame red ones that he's had on for the last 2 games. And you talk about bright, this one's worked up to mid-on. He had them on at Chesterley Street last Friday. Those of you that were either at that game or watched the live stream on that one, absolutely bright flame red boots, which really had nothing to do with the Notts green and gold or indeed anything to do with cricket, but he's not got them on this evening. 72 for 1. This pair of very good friends have added 19 from 15 balls. Rain bowls to Clarke, who moves across his crease and gets to the ball on the full, plays it onto the leg side for 1 more. 73 for 1.
And you don't see this very often, I don't think, and that is every one of the Durham players have white boots on. Normally there's 1 or 2 with a bit funky colours, blues and whatever, but every single one of those is wearing his traditional cricket boots.
I like that. Well done, Durham. It is my dream, and I know cricket supporters don't like us mentioning football, but it is my dream to go to a football match actually and see all 11 on one side wearing black boots, because you're dazzled by the different colours that.
I forget one side in the World Cup did it, didn't they? And they didn't show any advertising on the boots at all, just wore straight black.
So is the
year or so ago, I can't remember who it was.
Middlesex
Loney. Oh no, I know who it was. It was the All Blacks rugby.
Were they in the World Cup?
They were in the Rugby World Cup. I hope so. They're bloody good.
Now, was that the Rugby Union World Cup,
yes,
or the Rugby League World Cup?
Rugby Union World Cup. But they just
73 for 1. This is Nathan Souter, Middlesex player. Can't get in the Middlesex side, so he's ventured north for some cricket and starts with a loopy full toss, which is worked down the ground for a single. He's a leg spinner. He's had 2 or 3 very good years in the Blast for Middlesex, but out of favour. Getting a go with Ashton Turner's side this season. So Ben Duckett's on strike, so for the left-hander, obviously an adjustment to the field. On the offside, 3 inside the ring, 2 out. Duckett goes to leg, played it into the gap, but AJ Ty is there and does well. Good bit of fielding. 75 for 1. This is the period of normally of gradual accumulation. Maybe Clarke in particular and Duckett will see it differently. I'm sure Clarke will still be looking to clear the ropes.
Well, they need I'd suggest they need 15-20 on from where
next delivering, Clarke pushes it back to the bowler.
15-20 on from where Durham were at 10 overs, so you'd like to think they're up and around 100, 105, somewhere in and around there, just to make hay into those last 3 overs.
Clarke's got his squad number, 33 on his shirt, 33 on the board, now 34 as he again plays it down the ground to AJ Tye, who javelins the ball in. You could imagine he could throw it from one end of the ground to the other if he really wanted to. Terrific throw, 76 for 1 as a...
I've seen one person do that, Ian Pont, played for Nottingham. Sure, he could throw from the scoreboard into the members.
Crikey. Next delivery is heaved away for 6 by Duckett. And
wow, that was close.
Those of you that know the ground, as you're watching the live stream, there are sort of 2 parts to the Fox Road stand, the lower, the upper. There's a fence and a walkway, a concourse separating the 2 of them, and he hit the fence on that concourse and very nearly bounced back and hit somebody on the head. That was, my interpretation of it.
Nearly got him both ways, I think. Close going in, close coming back out. Yeah, he's just showing everybody what happened now.
It was hit hard. Sometimes
turn around, sir.
Next delivery, another full toss, pulled away, but it's straight to the fielder this time for a single. When a 6 is hit into the crowd and it's just sort of gently lobbed up into the air and everybody can see it and follow the flight, that's fine. But when it's slammed like that with great force, not too high off the ground into a lot of people, you do worry, don't you? Somebody just putting their hand up and deflecting it into somebody else. End of the over, 83 for 1 after 8.
Yeah, when you're in the crowd, if you can see it moving, you're all right. If it's just getting bigger and bigger, you need to duck. And I think that gentleman up there was just seeing it get bigger and bigger, and then it made a big clanging noise as it hit behind him and nearly got him on the way back out as well. And all of a sudden, he seems to have attracted all the stewards. They're all around him, giving him some protection.
Let's just hope nobody has been hurt. I know very early on in the Blast's long and illustrious history, I think it was Somerset first of all, they sort of marketed it as a hard hat area and gave everybody hard hats as they came in. I think they quickly found that was a little expensive. Start of a new over. Duckett pulls this one down to Ben Rain at long leg. The bowler is AJ Tye.
I'm going to name drop here now. They do the KFC bargain buckets, don't they, as helmets out in Australia now.
84 for 1. Yeah, I think
and the odd melon.
If you catch the ball wearing one of those, you get a year's supply of chicken, don't you, or some such. I'd like that. 84 for 1.
I hear you're upset in the week, Dave.
84 for 1. I've no idea where you're going with this.
Well,
but
I heard that you weren't sitting in the dock of the bay. You had your drifters thing cancelled, didn't you?
That was last night.
Last night, Palace Theatre.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I did plan on hugging and kissing in the back row of the movies last night. 84 for 1.
Who are we going with?
Tye bowls. Colin Frey. This one's dropped on the leg side.
Wow.
You
heard
Clarke
it first.
Gets a single. No, myself and my good lady, we've been looking forward to going to see the drifters in the Kingdom of Newark last night. And unfortunately, around about midday, we got a text that some members of the cast, don't know if it could have been the support, could have been the band, could have been whatever, but some members of the cast had tested positive. They'd had to cancel. Next one is pushed on the leg side by Duckett. We'll get a single, 86 for 1. So you were a mile off with your Otis Redding. That was Dock of the Bay, wasn't it? Otis Redding.
Under the boardwalk, I meant.
Yeah. Crowd just starting to have a bit of a sing-song now. They'll think from here not should win, and they should. They've got it down to just double digits, 98 required, and again Joe Clarke helps it onto the leg side for a single, 87 for 1. Clarke onto 36.
So just a period they've got to be careful, because if they go into too much consolidation and just knock it around, they've got to start going again. And if they can just make sure they're keeping it, ticking it along at around about 8 and over, somewhere in and around there, they should be absolutely fine.
87 for 1. Ben Duckett has 23. Next delivery is just pushed to mid-on, and he set off. He almost bullied Joe Clarke into taking that single, because it was there for Duckett to take. 88 for 1. Now, the coach Johnson I know would be absolutely desperate and do anything for 2 points for the win. But did I not hear you say you'd like to see Sol Budinger come in and have a bat? Is that not going against the tried and trusted, this is our formula, this is what we do, this is how we win games of cricket? As Ty bowls, and the full toss is helped away for 6, and that will be a no ball. That's going to be a very expensive one for AJ Ty, because that is an 8. That really is an 8, folks. It's a no ball that's been hit for 6. So again into the Fox Road stand, and because it's a above waist high full toss, it has to be re-bowled. He's not done that before, has he? The umpire Tom Lungley is just telling him why he's giving it as a no ball. 96 for 1.
I think the bowler was asking why he called it and not the square leg, and Tommy Lungley, in nothing more than a very firm word to say, because it was above waist high.
So Clarke on 42. Ty bowls, free hit. Oh, it's been steered to backward point. Oh well, short third. Rain fields and they get a single. End of the over, 97 for 1. That game in 2017 where Hales got his 95 off 30 balls. Durham in 1 over had 3 different bowlers. Usman Arshad, if you remember him, began with 2 beamers, was brought out of the attack, so he had to leave with figures of no balls, whatever it was, none for 4, so he had to come out of the attack. Paul Coghlan took over the over. From the 5th ball he was injured, the ball was drilled back at him, damaged his hand, he had to go off, and Jack Burnham completed the over, and that's the only time I think in the domestic blast 3 different bowlers have bowled 1 over. 97 for 1. Ben Rain.
You're full of it.
To bowl the 10th over. Thank you.
Knowledge. Some people say different.
Rain has already bowled 2 overs, none for 19. He's bowling to Joe Clarke, who drives the ball handsomely for 6 to go to 49 not out, and not the start of the over that Ben Rain wanted. I thought that was his 50th.
Yeah, I know you did. Oh dear. He's done really well getting the elevation on that, because that was quite a full ball, almost Yorker, and his hands worked so hard underneath and through that, sliced across it, got it straight, and probably only went about 8 or 10 foot all the way to the boundary. A solid shot.
And comes Rain again, and bowls to Clarke on his pads, and that is his 50. Well batted Joe Clarke. Clips it away on the leg side. He's only faced 28 balls here. Not so 104 for 1. Reaching 3 figures with that 6. Faced 28 balls. And he's hit 2 4s.
And 5 6s.
5 6s. Durham only hit 6 6s the whole team. 104 for 1. Not still need more than a run a ball though. 80 from 64. Plenty of wickets in hand. Here's Rain into Duckett. Whips this towards Ty at a wideish mid-on, and they come back for 2. 106 for 1. Did you come back to me on your reasoning for putting Sol Budinger in next?
Well, I'd have opened with him. Clarke's played really well. We know what he can do. I'd just like to see what Budinger can do up front. That's where he bats.
Because qualifications out of the way, have a look at.
Yeah, I don't think you'd lose too much. You might lose a little bit of quality, but in terms of what you're looking for by your opening in 2020, you wouldn't be missing too much.
Rain to Ben Duckett, wide of the off stump, nearly drags it on. Just had to be a little careful, and that's nice from Ben Rain, because he's rushed down there just to get on the scene quickly to prevent a run, and then a little pat on the back for Ben Duckett.
I think
and then
what
he's
he was
run
doing,
all the way back.
Yeah, what he was doing, he was taking the mickey about what happened to him. He was making sure that no one could get past him like he thought Dan Christian did.
Are you reading too much into that? 106 for 1, 2 balls left.
Knowing this clown here, that's right up his sense of humour, that.
Offside field has been brought up, 4 of them saving a single. Rain bowls short, and Duckett pulls it away onto the leg side for a run. 107 for 1 knots, just making very smooth work of this right now. It can all unravel with a wicket or two, but at the moment Clarke 50, Duckett 27 not out, helping Notts on their way to
20
what would be their third win in a row.
Yeah, we said they want to be about 20 ahead, 20 plus. They're 21 ahead with this ball in hand, so they're about where we wanted them to be at this stage, to make sure that they were tidily set, and 1 wicket down as well. Really, really good.
Rain bowls, Clarke takes a single, his 51st run. If Notts did get over the line, I mentioned earlier, it would be their 6th win in a row against Durham. They'd have done the double each of the last 3 years. End of the over. 108 for 1 at the halfway stage, and corresponding stage 86
yeah.
on the board. 86 for 3 Durham.
So 22 ahead, and not only 22 ahead, but Notts have scored 6 10 plus overs, 10 run plus overs in the first 10 overs, and Durham only managed that 7 times throughout the whole of their innings. So
it's going to be Nathan Souter to have another over. First result of the evening is in. Worcestershire Rapids at home have been defeated by Lancashire Lightning. No, I beg your pardon, Worcestershire Rapids have defeated Lancashire Lightning by 29 runs. So Worcestershire finding a little bit of form there ahead of Notts' visit on Sunday. And that's good all round for Notts, with Lancashire losing, because they are the joint highest T20 winners in domestic cricket. This one's hit up in the air by Clarke and will be caught.
good catch.
Clarke gone for 51. Once again gets to a milestone and falls out for out with a score on 108. Clarke gone for 51. Nathan Souter with the wicket, and it was a good catch by the skipper Ashton Turner. Joe Clarke faced 30 balls, 2 4s, 5 6s. Caught Turner, bowled Souter 51.
Yeah, played well. You'd have liked him kicked on now. 51 off 30 balls, great knock in the context of things. There's plenty of firepower still to come in. However, you'd really like to see him bat for another 3 or 4 overs. New man in, Stephen Mullaney.
Mullaney top scored for Notts with 35 not out or something of that order in that 11 overs aside. Thrash up in the northeast last Friday night, on his way out to join Ben Duckett, keeping the right hand left hand combination going. Wicket for Souter. His first over went for 10, but he's begun his second over with a scalp of Joe Clarke.
You know, going back to probably Budinger Dave, he's been around the place quite a long time now, and I'll probably say he is a specialist 2020 player. I know that Notts have got lots of talented players in and around, but if he's in and he's in the side, you've got to see what he can do.
Yeah.
You know, we saw it with 1 or 2 players that can bat at 7 and 8 and field, but you know, 5 years down the line, is he going to get in the Champo team? Doubtful. Royal London team, well, you would definitely have thought so, because no disrespect, anyone can get in that team at the minute because of the 100. So, and Notts are missing that many. This one cut away for 1 gets Mullaney off the mark. So if he's in the side, give him his head, let him go. You know, it's going to take all on to get qualification. Even now, send the experienced man in Mullaney, but you know, let's have a look at the kid, see what he can do.
109 for 2. Mullaney away first ball with a single, but brings Ben Duckett back on strike. He has 27. Souter bowls. Duckett
Shot.
Down on one knee, sweeps it away. Probably get a couple. He will. Ben Rain doing the fielding. Takes a score on to Nelson. And Duckett on to 29. That game that ideally Leicestershire Northants, ideally Notts need that to finish as a tie. Leicestershire 214 for 6, Northants 112 for 1 in reply after 11. Next ball is dropped on the leg side, and Duckett will get a single. The reason I say that is if either side gets the win and gets the 2 points, they will become the 4th side that are sort of out of the Outlaws' reach. They won't be able to qualify mathematically if it finished in a tie. Obviously before the game we wondered if it might be rained off, or hoped it might be rained off if Notts were to have any hope, but we can safely put all the mathematical equations to bed if either side wins that. Souter bowls, Mullaney digs it out, 112 for 2. Interesting to see what Notts do with regards to Sunday at New Road. Once they are mathematically out of the race for the quarter-final spots, if they do alter the side much, or if they take this 11, 12, 13 to New Road, end of the over. Decent one from Nathan Souter, 4 runs from it and a wicket. Outlaws 112 for 2 after 11.
Yeah,
just getting a little closer, isn't it, the score comparison, Paul?
Yeah, you know, they needed to be ahead, and then they need to keep ticking, because as we keep saying, out of the last 6 overs they had a 15 and 11, a 16 and a 12, you know, and the 2 in and around there were 8s as well, so they weren't slouching with 8s, but you know, they need to get ahead coming into over 15, 16. They need to be 20 or 30 runs ahead just to make that run in that little bit easier, else it'll be really tense coming down the back end. 112
for 2. Liam Travaskis, who's gone for 27 runs from his first 2 overs. Bowls to Duckett, who's played a lovely looking shot through mid-wicket for 4, again down on one knee. That's favourite target area of Ben Duckett.
This is the danger of the left-right hand combo, that if you can get the right people on strike at the right time, you know, Travaskis wants to be bowling at Mullaney here with a big side on leg side and keep it fired in. He's tried to hide that way outside off stump, and all it means is that the batsman's got a real free hit at the ball.
Duckett onto 34. Next ball is pulled that one away for 4 more. Short down the leg side, helped away. I don't think Ben Duckett has played a reverse sweep this evening. Sometimes he can go out there and he'll play that shot first ball when he's out there, but it seems to be
there's no
more
need
orthodox.
Tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no need, and I think Ben Duckett 2 years ago would have probably done it regardless.
Yeah.
Just to say, this is what I've got, what you're going to do about it, and then get out. Whereas he seems to be maturing a little bit. I think that he got a bit out of kilter against Leicester, trying to show young Rahan Ahmed what to do, but tonight.
Next ball, he'll cut that into the offside for a single, 121 for 2.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't take it all the way tonight.
Yeah,
he looks in that
player.
sort of mood.
Terrific player. Single brings Mullaney back onto strike. Notts requires 63 now from 51 balls. Still, on paper at least, batting to come. Dan Christian, Tom Moores, Samit Patel, and a couple of youngsters, Sol Budinger, and we haven't even mentioned Lyndon James, the other youngster who picked up a wicket earlier. There's Travaskis bowling to Mullaney. Helps this onto the onside, and there's no run. 121 for 2.
1 from 4 balls now. Mull, I know he won't be panicking, but he needs to do something about it, even if it's getting Duckett back on strike.
Travaskis bowls, and they're claiming a stumping, and they've got it. Good bit of work from Ollie Robinson. Stephen Mullaney just stands and has a bit of a look and a double take and undoubtedly a blink or two towards the umpire, and has gone, given out stumped by Robinson. Sharp work, and the bowler was Travaskis, getting his 2nd wicket. Mullaney out for 1, and it's 121 for 3.
Yeah, just got himself into a bit of a hole, Stephen Mullaney. Just the single from 5 balls, and when it gets to that, your brain starts playing tricks on you. Instead of just saying, right, I need to get Duckett back on strike here with the short side. Oh, there's a dot, oh, I need to do something about it, and that ball was nowhere near there to be driven. Bounced well over the top of the stumps, and because of that it looked like he just dragged a little bit. Whether he got back or not, we can't see from up here. We haven't got a very good view on the replay, but you've just got to take the umpire's word for the fact that he is on his way and he must have dragged.
121 for 3. Mentioned about 4 or 5 names there, and then at the end I said we haven't mentioned Lyndon James. Well, now we can mention him because he's on his way out to the middle. Lyndon James is coming in at number 5 for the Outlaws. Despite this being only his 6th game, he's only batted 3 times and has got a top score of 7. Well, we know he's a much better player than a top scorer of 7. Got that 155 in the championship game in the week. Not necessarily his game, playing the reverses and the scoops and what have you, but technically he is probably the most correct of them all. 122 for 3, gets a single from the final ball of the over. Travaskis 3 overs, 2 for 37. He's gone for runs, but he's picked up 2 of the 3 wickets. And with 8 overs left, Notts still require 62.
Yeah. Just that drizzle of wickets, 2 in the last 2 overs. The last thing they need to do now is to lose Duckett. That would be, back in the balance again.
Mr. Cat meet Mr. Pigeon, that sort of thing.
Sorry?
Mr. Cat meet Mr. Pigeon. That's perhaps a little harsh with Christian Moores and Patel to come, and Sol Budinger. But
it doesn't matter who you are, it's pressure.
Like happened in the Durham innings when they lost 3 wickets in 4 balls. You can just suddenly become derailed. It's going to be Bryden Carse to bowl his 3rd over. Bowling to Lyndon James. Here is the England international. Bowls, that's a lovely shot, but nice bit of fielding at mid-off. And they just get a single.
Good shot. Decent ball, to be fair. Hard length, hit on the up, and a good piece of fielding. Is that the captain?
I think it's Borthwick, isn't it?
No, I thought it was the captain, but I might be wrong.
I think it's. I think that's Scott Borthwick. So you're right. It is the. It's the club skipper, but Ashton Turner's.
I meant Turner. I thought they'd swapped over, but obviously not.
No, I think it was Borthwick with the stop. Either way, 123 for 3. Next delivery is pulled away again by Duckett for a single. Out onto the leg side. 124 for 3. That was Paul Coghlan.
Trying to catch Duckett out, not watching there. He was pulled it away, decided early on there was only one, jogging it through. He just tried to catch him unawares, throwing it back to the bowler's end. There was a couple backing up, so there was no fear of overthrows.
Speaking of Coghlan, he hasn't turned his arm over yet. Here's Carse in. James pulls this for 6. Wow. That was as spectacular as it was unexpected. Just ripped it into the Fox Road stand for 6. Terrific shot from Lyndon James, and that's an England international bowler.
Yeah, back of a length. I wouldn't even say it wasn't a long hop. It was just back of a length, and he just stood there, pulled it off the front foot, and it went halfway back into the back terrace of the Fox Road. Strong shot, lovely shot.
That might be a round of drinks he owes at the end of the season, because he's now got his highest T20 score, albeit 8.
It's usually of a certain amount
chopped on
to class as a CB.
Oh, I thought it was just an incremental.
No, well, back in my day, it used to start at 30 for a batter. Or anyone, so the tail enders were sort of not scrambling around every week, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Well, I think that's
it's changed a bit now. Then we weren't as harsh as that.
We haven't seen Paul Coghlan, just 5 bowlers used: Bryden Carse, Liam Travaskis, Ben Rain, AJ Tye and Nathan Souter. Next one is going to come for a second 6. The first one was absolutely magnificent. That one, let's just say it's gone for 6. It was a top edge over the keeper.
He can actually say now, in my is it his debut at home in the 2020?
It's not his debut.
All right. Yeah, when I got my career best, I hit him for 6, 2/3 of the way back. Then I hit him straight back over my head. Not his head. It's gone straight over his head, straight over the keeper. Oh dear, into the sight screen. I hit him into the sight screen for 6.
136 for 3.
And now he goes the other way.
He's hit this into the offside.
Should be 2.
Probably plug, and then we'll come back for 2. Duckett's always a willing runner, especially if it means he's going to be on strike for the next ball, and it will, because it's the end of the over. That was a unlikely over. 138 for 3.
Oh dear.
What's happened?
There's a gentleman up in the Fox Road in a disgusting shirt, Dave.
I didn't see it. I was actually looking at the.
Trying to find him again. They're inciting a riot in the ground. There's a Derby shirt up in. Oh dear. Yeah, get it off quick. 138.
After which one of our camera crew would have been in trouble there for highlighting that. Producer Kirsty popping the pictures on your live stream.
Cool.
Here's Travaskis, bowls to Duckett, cuts it into the offside. Knew something was going off. I was just making a note of the score at the end of the over and just having a little look on the
I was
live
horrified.
stream.
I was horrified. Dumbstruck nearly.
139 for
He
3.
escorted out and shown the way back up the
Brian Clough way.
Yes.
Knots require
The Brian Clough the
45
wrong way.
from 41 balls. Of course, there's a Brian Clough link with Sunderland. I know a lot of the Durham players and the supporters, Sunderland supporters, as Lyndon James helps us out onto the leg side.
Back up the A5 too.
140 for 3. That's a while ago now, 2010, the 5-2 game, which again often gets a mention. 140 for 3. Duckett has 41. And he does go on the reverse and executes it superbly for 4 runs. Just wondered what he'd done with it this evening, the reverse.
Well, it makes sense now to play it because Travaskis is bowling around the wicket, firing across him. So there's no way you can get an LB, and if you can't get an LB, you struggle to get a bowled. And with the angle, it just makes it really nice to reverse sweep past that short backward point man.
Gross on the board, 144. Next one's cut away by Duckett.
More.
We'll just get a single.
Because what he'd done, Dave, is he'd moved that backward point man 15 yards further, and unfortunately, also the deep extra cover had moved around 5 or 10 yards. Otherwise, he'd have picked that gap beautifully, moved the man, and then hit it where he's come from.
That's the voice of former Notts skipper Paul Johnson with us here. Trent Bridge this evening. This one's hit back, nicely stopped by bowler Travaskis. He's just got 1 ball left in his spell. Figures of 2 for 44.
3 overs ahead where they are in terms of comparisons. Doing well now.
Notts require 39 from 37. 145 for 3. Travaskis 2. Lyndon James. Well, Travaskis has dived over the top of it. He finishes with 2 for 45. 146 for 3. The Outlaws.
Another good ticking over from the Outlaws. 8 off it. And just making sure they're staying ahead of where they need to be. At 17 overs, Durham were 144. So those 3 overs in lieu are already 2 runs ahead of where they were. So trying to make inroads in on that last 3 over burst where the Outlaws went for 39. And at the minute they're doing it very, very nicely. Duckett underpinning everything really well.
Nathan Souter, who's bowled 2 overs, 1 for 14. Going to get his 3rd over now from the pavilion end. Just waiting for Status Quo to finish their set. Where
Duckett, to me, looks like a posh man's Matthew Dowman. Left-hander at the club, gives it a bit of a biff.
146 for 3. Lyndon James is on strike, and James has cut this away. That's a nice looking shot. It's well fielded on the fence down there by Michael Jones. Saved a couple of runs. You need to be of a certain vintage to remember Matt Dowman. Very fine player indeed. Teammate of Paul's.
Outscored Chanderpaul. Always tells you that. England under 19s,
That's
West
right,
Indies.
Yeah, they've both got double hundreds in there. 148 for 3. Lyndon James back on strike. He's on 20. Souter bowls to him, and he'll push this into the offside. And there's no run. Speaking of music, I think Durham's Chesterley Street ground. I think they had Diana Ross there a couple of nights ago. Oh, and Lyndon James has heaved at Souter. It's gone straight up in the air. To you, to me, to you, to me. It's been taken. Just wondered if there was going to be a bit of a collision there, but it's been safely pouched. And Lyndon James has to go for 20. That may well have been Borthwick as well. We'll just check on that. 148 for 4. It's straight up in the air. In fact, it's Liam Travaskis, I beg his pardon. Lyndon James caught by Travaskis from the bowling of Nathan Souter. 148 for 4 halfway through the 15th over. Bright and breezy knock from Lyndon. Faced 12 balls, hit 2 sixes in his 20. But now he's gone.
Just trying to take advantage of that short side again. Top edge.
Well, it's going to be replaced by Tom Moore, so it's not going to be constant left-hand, right-hand combination. Still another lefty in Sol Budinger, but just thought, old sentimentalist that I am, that might just have been the time that we might have been able to say thank you and farewell to Dan Christian, just popping out there with 36 required.
Well, there might still be chance yet, to be fair.
Well, they might, but he's cutting it fine, isn't he, for 36 required?
Yeah.
You never know, might be in next ball, but 148 for 4. Tom Moore's out there with Notts closing in on a victory right now, you'd say. Can still all unravel. Moore's with the best of 47 in this year's Blast, averaging just under 30, and is away first ball 4. Got a quick fire 25 not out at Chesterley Street last week that really did help Notts the back end of their innings, get them up to through the 80s into the 90s, and their eventual score of 98 for 5 was enough. Played very nicely then. And he's got off the mark in the same vein here. 152 for 4. Next delivery short, pulled away by Tom Moores, and that'll be back-to-back boundaries. 156 for 4. Got a nasty injury, Paul. You probably heard about it at Leicester a couple of weeks ago in the Championship match, where
I was there.
Got to 81 and top edge off the bat handle into his Adam's apple, which is going to sting a bit. He had to retire hurt, which wasn't good news at all. Back-to-back 4s for Tom Moores down the track. Help yourself to 4 more, Thomas, and he does. Lovely looking shot through extra cover. Bang, bang, bang. It's 160 for 4. Well, Liam Travaskis.
Finish.
It's what?
Bang, bang, bang. 9-dart finish, Dave.
Very much so. Liam Travaskis there was enjoying that over for the first half of it, and then walloped for 12 from the last 3 balls. 160 for 4 from 15.
Yeah, just what they needed. Just take the pressure off Duckett, doesn't it? You know, someone comes in 4 for 4. You know, didn't have to do a great deal with him either, did he? You know, the last one he used his feet well, got through. First 2 you expect, you know, just bowling your best ball. Don't change it up. And biff biff. And you know, I'm not saying that's put the game to bed, but you know, Duckett can just play now.
Yeah, Notts are 32 ahead right now of where Durham were.
Yeah.
160 for 4. They need 24 from 5 overs. There's AJ Ty. That's a wide. Bowling to Duckett, who's on 48, and he couldn't. 46, I beg your pardon, and he couldn't reach it.
Could all be done in the next 2 overs.
161 for 4. Wouldn't you like to have your finger on that button there?
Yeah.
AJ Ty. Could do with that in life. Wherever I am in life, have that button. This is it back to Ty, who shies at the stumps. Ben Duckett had got back, and AJ Ty missed anyway.
Not your favourite.
I don't mind that. Like I say, I'd like to have that with me in life, generally, for when there are opportunities to use that, aren't there?
Would you use it a lot, Dave?
I probably would. There's Ty. To bowl to Ben Duckett, who's on 46. Cut it into the offside. He's run the first one quickly.
You'd have used it last night.
In comes the throw.
When you got your email.
Yeah, it was a text. 162 for 4. Yeah, it's a shame. Just we still know it's out there and about, and every time we seem to think it's gone, you just suddenly come into contact with with people saying, well, so and so's just tested positive, and so and so's just tested positive, and all the rest of it. But we'd rather be where we are now than where we were 2 years ago. There's AJ Ty bowling to Tom Moores. Again, he drives nicely through the offside, and there's plenty on that ball, Johnson. That's 4 runs. He's gone to 16 from 4 balls.
Yeah, he's not running. Good shot. Been a good shot in all forms of cricket.
Yeah. 166 for 4.
Wide half volley, just lent on it through between extra cover and mid-off.
Durham made 183 for 8. Nobody getting 50. Michael Jones top scored with 41. Here's AJ Ty round the wicket again. Nice looking shot this time by Moores, but he misses out. Hit it straight to the fielder. Jones made 41 in the Durham innings. 33 for the skipper Ashton Turner. 25 for Bryden Cars. Both Stephen Mullaney and Jake Ball each took 3 wickets. Mullaney getting his 3 wickets within the space of 4 balls, and came as close, I think, as we've had to a Notts bowler in T20 getting a hat-trick. There was a blow down the ground that Ben Duckett, right on the rope, dived and got a hand to it. Couldn't hang on. This one's hit up in the air. It's gone many a mile high from Moores. There's a fielder on the rope. Can he drag it back in? Oh, that's brilliant! That is brilliant! What a terrific catch! Absolutely stunning catch. Moores has gone. Wonderful work by Nathan Souter on the rope. Athleticism in this day and age, in this format of the game, is absolutely outstanding, and Nathan Souter has taken one of the best catches you could ever wish to see. It's 166 for 5.
Yeah, went a monstrous distance up in the air. He backed up. He's gone back over the rope, back in, caught it, thrown it up. It was one of those. We'd have to see it again. It's gone right up. I don't think. Oh, let's have a look. Here we go. Catches it.
Oh.
It's nip and tuck, isn't it? Nip and tuck. But we're not going to see Dan Christian by the look of it.
It is Sol Buddinger on his way out. Diet of lefties at the moment in this Notts Outlaws middle order. 166 for 5. The Outlaws require 18. Is there a twist? Notts have lost half their side now. 166 for 5. Still not had Dan Christian, still not had Samit Patel. But this is Sol Buddinger, another of the younger brigade. Just getting a briefing from Ben Duckett. AJ Ty has got 1 ball left in this over, the 16th. It's going to go round the wicket to Buddinger, who heaves his first ball away over the infield, and 1 bounce, 2 bounces over the ropes for 4, so he's not hanging about either. Well, Ben Duckett must have said, he'll bang it in halfway down, just pull him for 4, mate. 170 for 5 at the end of the over.
Another wicket, but another 10 off the over. It takes Notts to 170 for 5. Just needing 13 now off the last 4 overs.
Fearless cricket, isn't it? As you say, I mean,
it is, but it's had 2 really good innings of substance from Joe Clarke and Duckett, and in and around that you've had 26 off 13 balls from Hales, and you've had 20 off 12 balls from Lyndon James, and you know that just gives you a platform really to go and do pretty much what you need to do. Yeah, you know, this is what they needed to do earlier in the campaign.
Yep, Nathan Souter with ball in hand, bowls to Duckett. That's a full toss, helped away on the leg side for 4 runs.
Hit that hard. Full toss.
That's Duckett's 50.
Jumped over it.
31 balls, 5 fours and a 6. Second 50 of the campaign. But this one will mean a lot to him if he can get Notts over the line. Should do from here. 31 balls. Played very nicely. Notts required 10 now from 23 balls. 2 blows away in theory. Nathan Souter trying to find a way to quiet Duckett, and he very nearly did there. A play and a miss outside the off peg from Duckett. Goes through to Robinson. There's not been too many that's gone through to the Durham glove man. Souter once more. Duckett leaves his crease, clips it to mid-wicket, nearly runs into Sol Buddinger, and then they settle at 175 for 5.
Doesn't want to be throwing it away now, Duckett. you know, in 2020, yeah, you want to go out with a flourish and so on and so forth, but you do all this hard work, and just with a few runs needed, you just need to see at home. You know, you don't get too cocky, don't get too confident. You know, give the new guy it. If he gets a bad ball, let him put it away, walk off, bat out high, and you can shake 14 or 15 hands with a big smile on your face.
175 for 5. Souter only comes in off 2 paces, yet there's a false start. I think he was still moving his fielders around. Next ball is helped away by Budinger behind square. They'll probably get a couple of runs here, they will indeed. Pride and Cast doing the fielding, 177 for 5. That game at Grace Road that not supporters would want to finish in a tie. Leicestershire 214 for 6. Northants 169 for 4 in the 18th. They require 50 from 16 balls. Or 49 for the tie. Budinger has driven this now down the ground very elegantly for 4. He looks in pretty decent order as well. So Budinger.
This is how he plays. You know, if it's in his arc, it'll disappear. At times he gets a little bit headstrong, a little bit carried away, but the only way you can perform is to be out in this environment.
May well be a fun side to watch in the Royal London this year, with Budinger and the other two that are in fine form, Dane Schardendorf and Matthew Montgomery. Next ball is through the keeper. Oh, he's giving him out stumped. Budinger had a swish at it, missed it. Robinson, quick as a flash, whipped off a bail, and umpire David Milnes raised the finger, and it is 181 for 6. Knots require 3, and it is the perfect opportunity for Dan Christian to come out and get the winning runs. However, it's Samit Patel who's on his way out to the middle, so it's not going to happen. Budinger stumped Robinson, bowled Souter for 10.
Yeah, that's that, just a little bit carried away. You know, I can understand getting stumped if you come down the wicket and look to hit over the top, but if you're just taking a stride and hitting into it as you would a shot on the floor, then it's just soft. That's all you can say.
Yeah.
And you know, he'll learn from that.
It is the end of the 17th over, 181 for 6. Knots require 3 from 3 overs as Samit Patel comes out to the middle. So no Dan Christian. Bryden Cars is going to bowl. This is a ground, of course, where last year Durham's 50 over side played in the Royal London One-Day Cup final, narrowly defeated by Glamorgan. Absolute crackerjack of a day that was. Huge credit to both sides and all their supporters. Royal London not too far away. Meanwhile, it's the last knockings of the Blast, with Cars bowling to Duckett, helps it onto the leg side, and that will be 3 runs, with the no ball turned away by Ben Duckett for a single, and that, ladies and gentlemen, will be that. 184 for 6 the board goes to, and that is the end of the game. Notts have won by 4 wickets. Ben Duckett finishes 53 not out from 34 balls, and Sammy Patel, you brought me out here for that, doesn't get a face a ball. Notts have ended their campaign at home with a win. Again, we haven't had a last ball thriller or whatever, but the Outlaws certainly have found a little bit of form at the back end when it's too late, and they've at least given this large crowd something to go off and remember them by as they head off for their Friday evening, some of them into town, some of them going home, and the two teams get together in the middle. So Notts take the 2 points. It's Dan Christian's 50th win as Notts skipper, and he's the first captain in the domestic Blast to do that. It seems as if it's going to be his last game here at Trent Bridge. May see him back again, who knows, but they've said that's going to be it. He's not going to be returning next year. So Dan Christian goes off on a high. Ben Duckett leaving the field at the moment on a high, just taking the applause. He finishes 53 not out. Notts have won, Paul Johnson, 184 for 6. In the end, it was relatively plain sailing, but Durham put a score on the board and made them work hard for it.
Yeah, they did. I think that ultimately Notts were pretty much in control of that all the way, probably up to 16 overs of the Durham innings, and then they just lost the way down at the back end. 47 off the last 4 overs was a little bit disappointing. Coming out, Clarke and Hales just set sail, didn't they? They got the ship off to a great start, followed through 53 for 1, 67 after the first 6 overs, which gave them a really good inroad into the first 10 overs, let alone the first 6 of the Durham attack, and then went down and through. And I thought that ultimately a little bit of power hitting from Lyndon James, from Tom Moore's in there, and certainly my man of the match would be Duckett for seeing it home. Didn't throw it away. 53 off 34 balls, and a really mature innings, and thoroughly deserved, really. I don't think I expected at the top of the night that Durham wouldn't come anywhere close, and to be fair, they didn't, and it was a true win, and a lovely fitting mark of respect from everybody staying behind, just to give Dan Christian, who's walking around the inner circle, a lovely send-off. He's giving everybody a wave, and I think this being the last home game of the season, probably saying thanks for the support.
It very much looks like it, doesn't it? He's walking round the ground now, waving to those in the Fox Road stand. All his teammates are behind him, applauding him. They've very much enjoyed playing their cricket under Dan Christian. Mick Newell it was who saw something in him in 2015 when he came across. James Taylor and Chris Reed shared that season as captain, and Mick Newell asked Dan Christian if he'd come back for 2016, commit himself for the whole summer and come as captain, and he did. And since then it's been well, Nottinghamshire's best period of T20 cricket. They've won it twice under Christian's captaincy, 2017 and 2020. He's the first skipper to get to 50 wins in the domestic Blast. We know James Vince is on 49 and Hampshire are playing this evening, but Christian's the first to get there. He's been a terrific servant for the club. He's been very popular. He's engaged with the members, engaged with the supporters, and he's lifted an awful lot of players. He's a born winner, and wherever he's gone, he's given of his best, and he's been a terrific servant for Nottinghamshire cricket. And you know, it's a shame, like all of us, time is catching up with the old boy. He's 39 years of age now, and he's said that's going to be it. At some point, you've got to look after the other things in your life, and that's what he intends on doing. He's still going to be playing cricket, but he says he's not going to be coming back for the Blast next year, so we'll have to see. Thank you, Dan Christian. I guess, Paul, just why you're on, and we don't know where we're going to be a year from now, where the world's going to be, or whatever. Notts have a problem then of who to replace him with. Will they bring in an outsider, an overseas player? Will they bring in an outsider, a domestic player? Do you promote from within? And if it's from within, is it Stephen Mullaney who did it last year when Christian couldn't come? But I see the leader out there in Ben Duckett. With all due respect to Stephen Mullaney, you've got to look now, perhaps for a period, somebody to take over for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years of availability. And to me, Ben Duckett shows all the characteristics of somebody who's matured over the years. He skippered the Welsh Fire last year in the 100. He's going to be doing it again this year. To me, he seems the natural choice.
Yeah, unless you're going to bring in a tried and trusted captain as your overseas, who knows, Dave? I don't know what they've got planned as a replacement for Dan Christian. Whoever comes in, they've got one hell of an act to follow, whether that is as a person, as a captain, or just as a damn good individual cricketer. And it will be someone of quality. We know that. Very rare have we seen a poor overseas player in this ground employed by the club. So let's just wait and see. And as you say, if Duckett does another good job in the 100 this year, then it looks a natural replacement, doesn't it, from within, if they want to bring.
Okay, so after a nice lap of honour there, I am joined by, I feel quite sad in a way, DC, to say for the last time the Outlaws captain, Dan Christian. The first thing I want to say to you, did you not fancy a bat? It looked quite nice out there at the end.
I copped a pretty bad one at the end of the fielding inning, so I would have come in if we really needed it at the end there, but yeah, I don't think I really was required, so yeah, it worked out pretty well.
How's kind of like the last 2 days, 3 days been for you? Because obviously a lot of interviews, the news broke out. Just how has it kind of been, and has it sunk in?
Not just yet. It probably will after I leave. I think it's still all pretty normal at the moment. You know, just trying to get out here and trying to win the game, and you know, talk about our plans pre-game and all the normal stuff you do. And we'll have to see how the thumb goes too before Sunday's game. I'm not sure how that's going to be. So it's just been a normal week. So I guess once the dust settles, I'll have some time to reflect and on what's been a pretty special time here at the club.
Has it been good that it's been a normal week, really, that you've had stuff to concentrate on, the things that you like to do, you know, the game you play? Has that been kind of a good thing?
Yeah, it has been good. And my 6-month-old
standing
over there too.
So cute.
She certainly keeps things in perspective when you...
Certainly do. I can vouch for that, mate.
She couldn't care less about the fact that it's my last game here at the club.
No, has no idea.
If she needs to sleep and she needs to eat, then that comes first. So yeah, that's certainly been a nice distraction for me as well.
You've been now talking to Mick Newell, the person that brought you to this club, and 8 years later you're here. You've been captain. You've won 2 trophies. It's a tough question, but you know, what kind of sticks out for you over those last 8 years here at Trent Bridge?
The 2 finals days wins, and I said it yesterday. I know it sounds a bit cliched, but just the friendships. That's the easiest thing to remember. The people that I've stayed in touch with, that I played with over the years here, guys that have since retired, Chris Reed, Michael Lum. Those kind of guys, and then it'll be no different for these guys as well now that I'm gone, that I'll be able to keep in touch with them whenever they're in Australia or whether I'm over here. I'm sure we'll catch up and talk about those trophy wins and the good times.
Now, while I've got you, I've kind of got to talk about this season. It's been an up and down season. Obviously, we've won some games here at the back end. Is that even more frustrating that potentially, we are going to miss out?
Yeah, it is, and we spoke about that. A couple of us just spoke about that in the rooms 5 minutes ago when it was looking like we were going to win this game pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
We've just hit our straps a little bit late, unfortunately. We didn't get off to a great start. We had a really inconsistent start. A couple of rain-affected games that probably cost us as well. The Birmingham one, losing by a run, comes to mind. It's just we unfortunately just didn't play our best cricket early enough on in the tournament to get ourselves in a position to be competing now.
Now, obviously, like you say, once the dust has settled and you may be back home, etc., you'll be able to answer this question probably better than what you will now. But what sort of legacy do you think Dan Christian will leave on the Outlaws? Or what would you like to leave?
I suppose just not so much anything individual, more so the way that we've gone about our cricket since I've been here. We've talked about, as a team, we talk about trying to put on a show, and I feel like we've done that pretty well over my time here. We've provided some great entertainment, particularly here at Trent Bridge. Such a great place to play 2020 cricket, and we've been able to deliver 2 trophies as well, which we haven't been able to do in the past. So, that's probably the thing I'm most proud of, to be a part of 2 teams that won the competition.
Great times. Now, I just want to say some things to you that people have obviously put into us tonight. Is gutted to hear this news, but thank you, Dan, for all the fantastic entertainment and giving us some truly great memories. Tomorrow is going to be emotional. We are honoured to have had you as our outlaw. Thank you. That's from Rachel, very well-known kind of fan here at Trent Bridge. Thank you very much, Super Dan. There you go, Super Dan. We have been proud to have you. You are welcome at the bridge anytime. And then just finally, thanks for giving us a brilliant 7 years, Dan. 8 years, but we'll let them off. Good luck with whatever you decide to do in your future. Hope you go out with a bang in these last few days. Well, you've ticked one of those off, DC, so well done. And this, I think, is true. Once an outlaw, always an outlaw.
Yeah, lovely sentiments. Thank you to everyone that sent messages. I've had a few messages on social media as well. They've been lovely. It's been fantastic, and a wonderful reception tonight too from the crowd. The yeah, it was a nice touch to be able to walk out there at the start of the game, and for everyone to applaud. It was for everyone to applaud. Yeah, it was pretty special.
Now, finally, this is just something from Kirsty and myself. Obviously, we've known you for quite a few years now. We were very lucky to spend 2019 in the dressing room with you on the All In documentary, travelling with you. We saw the passion that you had for this club to win, and I think it's fair to say at times, you know, when things didn't go right, you know, we saw the true DC in the captain material, and it made us stand up and go, oh right, okay, yeah, nice one, we'll be quiet here in the corner. But also we've had some amazing times with you. So just from Kirsty and myself, this is just a little something for you to enjoy, and we just want to say thank you very much, bud. You've been a great person, and we wish you all the best. And thanks for everything.
Thank you.
So you've now got to go do signatures, mate, I'm afraid. But I'd go and see your daughter.
Yeah, I think I'll.
All right, mate. All right.
Thanks,
cheers.
mate.
All right, I'll take that off.
Thanks, everyone.
No, absolute pleasure, DC. Okay. Well, I think that's probably the best way to end it here, really, for tonight's game. Speaking to the captain for the final time here at Trent Bridge, but he has got one more game, and that is the game against the Worcestershire Rapids on Sunday. So that is it for Trent Bridge live in the T20 format here at Trent Bridge, funnily enough. They do finish with a win against Durham, and what a way to finish it, really, with a no ball. But you take the victory, don't you? And there's still, at this moment in time, a very, 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 very slim chance that we might qualify, but we will have to wait and see what other results do. But from everybody here at Trent Bridge Live, from Dan Christian's Outlaws, thank you very much for your support over the previous 7 games. We really do appreciate it, and we will see you later on in the year for the county championship. But from everybody here, it's a very good night.